Why China just won the flying car race while the West kept promising he 100-year broken promise, fast-paced montage of retro 1950s sci-fi movies showing flying cars over futuristic cities. Suddenly, transition to real, high-definition drone footage of crowded mega highways in modern cities with cars stuck in bumper-to-bumper gridlock. For over a century, humanity was promised one thing above all else. By the turn of the millennium, we were supposed to have flying cars. Pop culture, sci-fi novels, and tech visionaries all told us that the sky would be our new highway, completely eliminating traffic, roads, and the mundane reality of daily commutes. But as the decades rolled by, that promise turned into a running joke. Every few years, a Western startup would emerge with a flashy concept rendering, raise hundreds of millions of dollars from excited investors, and then quietly collapse under the weight of regulatory gridlock, battery limitations, and engineering failures. We were told it was simply impossible. The physics didn't work, the noise would be deafening, and the safety risks were too high. Dramatic pause. The screen goes black for a split second. Suddenly, a massive, sleek, multi-copter aircraft with gull-wing doors lifts off vertically from the middle of a futuristic Chinese city center. No pilot inside. Totally autonomous. But while the West spent the last few decades arguing over why it couldn't be done, China quietly went to work. And right now, in 2026, they haven't just built a prototype. They have built the factories. They have rewritten the regulations. And shockwaves are hitting the global tech market because some of these personal flying vehicles are hitting the market at prices that make a standard electric sedan look expensive. This isn't science fiction anymore. This is a massive geopolitical and industrial shift happening right before our eyes. Today, we're peeling back the layers on China's terrifyingly fast aviation revolution, exploring the exact machines redefining human transport, and looking at how one country completely hijacked the future of flight. The cheapest flying vehicle in history show clear, high-resolution footage of small personal electric vertical takeoff and landing (eVTOL) vehicles maneuvering through testing facilities in China. Zoom in on sleek carbon fiber chassis and digital cockpit displays. Let's start with the statistic that is currently keeping Western automotive executives awake at night. Imagine buying a vehicle that can lift you completely out of a traffic jam, fly you directly across a crowded city, and land you safely on a rooftop, all for less than the price of a used high-mileage hatchback. It sounds like a scam, doesn't it? But looking closely at China's ultra-optimized manufacturing ecosystem reveals how this reality is being systematically forced into existence. Over the past year, Chinese engineering consortia and lightweight drone manufacturers have been experimenting with hyperscaled components. By leveraging the exact same massive supply chains that allowed China to dominate the global electric vehicle market, they are doing something the West completely failed to do: slashing production costs to the absolute bone. By utilizing high-strength, consumer-grade carbon fiber structures, mass-produced electric motors from existing EV platforms, and open-source automated flight stabilization algorithms, Chinese firms are treating flying vehicles not as boutique, million-dollar aircraft for billionaires, but as the next logical evolution of the mass-market smartphone or consumer drone. When you eliminate the need for manual piloting controls, heavy mechanical steering systems, and complex luxury interiors, what you are left with is essentially an oversized, hyper-efficient quadcopter optimized for one single purpose: getting a human being from point A to point B through the air as cheaply as possible. And when a country controls over 80% of the world's battery supply chain, those cost savings stack up fast. But cheap personal pods are only the tip of the iceberg. The real shockwave is happening in the commercial sector. EHang and the world's first real air taxis. Smooth cinematic shots of the EHang EH216-S flying over beautiful scenic routes, carrying passengers over rivers, and landing on automated pad systems. Show close-ups of the official civil aviation certificates. If you want to see where the flying car race was truly won, you have to look at Guangzhou-based aerospace pioneer, EHang. While American companies like Joby Aviation and Archer were caught in endless loops of paperwork with Western aviation regulators, EHang did something historic. Their flagship vehicle, the EHang EH216-S, became the world's first autonomous, pilotless electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle to receive full-type certification from a major global government body, the Civil Aviation Administration of China. Think about the sheer weight of that achievement. This isn't a helicopter. It has no pilot. There are no joysticks, no steering wheels, and no backup human inputs inside the cabin. It is a completely autonomous flying pod, powered by 16 propellers spinning on 8 double-folding arms. You simply sit inside, select your destination on a touchscreen tablet, and the vehicle's central cloud-based operating system handles the rest. It calculates the optimal route, communicates with air traffic management systems, monitors wind speeds in real time, and glides through the air at speeds up to 130 kilometers per hour. And here is the kicker. It's not just a demo model. These autonomous air taxis are actively flying real, paying passengers right now across designated tourism hotspots and low-altitude urban corridors in China. EHang has already racked up thousands of successful operational flights. They proved to the world that autonomous aerial mobility isn't a liability. It's a highly predictable, mathematically optimized system. If a single motor fails, the other motors instantly rebalance the thrust. If a critical system malfunctions, the aircraft automatically searches for the nearest safe landing pad and touches down gently. The West assumed regulators would block this technology for decades. China simply built a brand new regulatory framework from scratch to ensure they could claim the skies first. The automotive giants, stepping in, Xpeng and Gas, show the spectacular Xpeng land aircraft carrier. Video footage of a futuristic 6-wheeled SUV driving down a road, pulling over, opening its rear trunk, and a full-size 2-seater eVTOL rolling out and taking off. Then switch to the GAC GOVY AirCab cleanroom facility. But the true scaling of this industry isn't coming from dedicated aviation startups alone. It's coming from China's massive, deep-pocketed automotive giants. Companies like Xpeng and GAC Group are looking at the traditional ground-based car market and realizing that the real battlefield of the future lies a few hundred meters in the air. Take a look at the Xpeng Aero HT land aircraft carrier. This is perhaps one of the most wildly ambitious engineering projects to ever enter mass production. On the ground, it looks like a rugged, futuristic, 6-wheeled cybernetic SUV. It features a high-output, extended-range electric powertrain that handles rough terrain with ease. But the real magic happens in the rear half of the vehicle. With the press of a button, the back trunk opens up, and a fully functional 2-seater electric flying vehicle smoothly deploys from the body of the car. The SUV acts as a mobile mothership, using its massive internal battery pack to completely recharge the flying module up to 6 times while driving on the highway. You drive through the heavy traffic out of the city, park at a designated zone, hop into the flying module, and soar over the mountains or rivers. Xpeng didn't just design this for auto shows. They built a dedicated smart factory for it, locking in thousands of pre-orders with deliveries targeted heavily over the coming years. And then there's GAC Group with their brand new GOVY AirCab. Instead of trying to build a traditional car with folding wings that compromises both driving and flying dynamics, GAC went all in on an oversized human-carrying drone. To ensure these giant multi-copters can survive the brutal stresses of daily commercial travel, GAC inaugurated an aerospace-grade manufacturing facility utilizing an automated pulse line. We are talking about final assembly positioning accuracies of up to plus or minus 0.1 millimeters, put together inside specialized Class 100,000 clean rooms. They are treating these vehicles with the same structural discipline required to build commercial airliners, subjecting the carbon fiber airframes to full static load, endurance, and electromagnetic compatibility tests. When automotive assembly line efficiency meets aerospace quality control, mass production ceases to be a dream. It becomes an inevitability. Why the West stalled while China surged split-screen comparison? On one side, stock footage of boardrooms, legal documents, and abandoned Western tech offices. On the other side, bustling Chinese factories, massive construction projects, and glowing digital maps of urban air pathways. This leaves us with a critical, uncomfortable question. How did the West let this happen? How did an industry that was pioneered by Western dreamers, funded by billions of dollars of Silicon Valley venture capital, get completely overtaken by Chinese manufacturers? The answer boils down to three distinct pillars: supply chains, regulatory agility, and the low-altitude economy doctrine. In the United States and Europe, pioneers